What's up, you team of savages? Today I'm reacting to just how big is the US military, guys. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, click the bell for notifications. I hope your weekend is going well and smooth. So let's jump in. Alright, there we go. Look at that, how they captured the flag. That's beautiful. Man, love the B-roll. Slow-mo. Guys know how to shoot.
Just how big is the U.S. military?
How big? Tell me, please, I wanna know. I guess very big. Very
the U.S.
big.
military machine is a fearful and gargantuan beast. Last year, the U.S. spent 37% of the entire global defense expenditures, worth $688.02 billion on its military.
And which is the biggest amount of money that a country on this earth spends on the military. So basically USA is on the first place by the spendings, and even if we take India, Russia and China together, they cannot catch USA. So that's awesome.
The White House's annual spend is the equivalent of the next 7 biggest defense spenders: China, Saudi Arabia, UK, India, France, and Japan added together.
What about Russia?
America doesn't just have some of the most advanced weaponry at its disposal. It has about 800 military bases outside the United States, and it swells the annual budget. The U.S. Air Force, the U.S. Navy, and the U.S. Marine Corps combined are considered the world's most powerful military. To better understand just how big the American military is, let's take a look at the military power that the U.S. president has at his command.
Let's not forget about the nuclear power, right? The Navy, Air Force, Land Forces, which in the Land Forces they split to tanks and like separate how to say, special forces. There is like Navy SEALs. They are more like with the Navy. So we have who else we have? Mention below in the comment section who else we have on the ground forces, like regular army, right? Special ops, and I forgot who else.
U.S. Air Force. The United States Air Force, USAF, is the air service branch of the United States Armed Forces. It's one of the 8 U.S. uniformed services initially formed as a part of the United States Army on August 1st, 1907.
1907.
The U.S. Air Force will pound enemies with devastating consequences for weeks before a ground invasion begins. No expense has been spared assembling a frightening array of planes designed to win air superiority, rapidly respond anywhere on the globe, conduct surveillance, and build intelligence.
Just take a look how the development of the planes went from 1907 till this day, man. This is day and night, people. If the people from 1907 would see the planes that we have now, they would think that aliens built them. So this is how the progress works, man. Imagine what's gonna be after 100 years. Maybe Space Wars, man. Star Wars everywhere, I'm telling you.
As of 2017, the Air Force had more than 5,300 aircraft, 406 nuclear-capable intercontinental ballistic missiles, ICBMs, and 170 military satellites. Drones have also recently become a recent deadly item of military hardware to call on.
Especially in Ukraine nowadays, they use a lot of drones to kill tanks, which are more expensive than the drones are, and this is very efficient tactic if you ask me.
3 types of long-range and stealth bombers totaling 152 planes can take to the air and drop nuclear bombs and conventional weapons. The Air Force has 74 B-52H Stratofortress bombers capable of carrying 32,000 kilograms of weaponry,
Wow.
59 B-1B Lancers, and 19 B-2A Spirits.
Man, Spirits are so scary, man. Look at
The
that.
jewels in the U.S. Air Force crown are 1,442 blisteringly fast fighter jets, including the F-16C, F-15E, F-15C, F-22A, and F-35A, all armed with high-powered cannons and missiles.
Also, guys, I have a video on my channel about F-15 Eagles. Check it out in the playlist, jet playlist.
All the hardware and tech is flown, operated, and supported by 321,444 active duty airmen,
That's serious.
141,000 civilian personnel, 69,000 reservists, and more than 100,000 in the Air National Guard. U.S. Navy.
I think the army is so deep down in American culture nowadays that it's, you know, it's become a big part of America. It's from one side it's obvious, you know, but from other side it's not obvious. Because let's say, for example, I know there's this thing when a guy who serves, right? He shows up in the airport and people tell him, you know, thank you for your service, thank you for your service, you know, and also like, let's say airplanes are flying over the stadiums during the national football matches. And this is like, I'm telling you, this is like integrating the army into the civilian life, something like that, I guess.
The United States Navy is the maritime service branch of the United States Armed Forces and one of the 8 uniformed services of the United States. The U.S. understands the importance of dominating the seas and have assembled a formidable navy. There are 336,978 sailors on active duty and 101,583 in reserve. America has 11 active aircraft carriers to patrol the world's oceans, with 2 more in production. Its nuclear-powered aircraft carriers have an almost unlimited range. A single aircraft carrier transporting fighter jets and bombers is typically supported by 3 destroyers or cruisers, a frigate, and 2 attack submarines. The U.S. Navy has 68 modern destroyers capable of countering threats on and below the water and
this is a Japanese flag, isn't it?
from the air. More than 50 submarines, many capable of silently launching Trident nuclear missile strikes hidden from view, can sail into battle with 22 frigates and 15 corvette vessels. Many U.S. ships can launch the feared BGM-109 Tomahawk missiles with Harpoon missiles and Sidewinders, also well-known weapons in the U.S. Navy quiver. The Navy's other nuclear weapon is the air-deployed B-61 nuclear bomb, a thermonuclear device that can be dropped by the FA-18 Hornet and Super Hornet. Naval aircraft can drop all kinds of smart and cluster bombs on the enemy. In total, U.S. naval assets total 415. The Navy is bolstered with more than 3,600 aircraft and 50,000 non-combat vehicles. U.S. Army. The United States Army is the land service branch of the United States Armed Forces. It's one of the 8 U.S. uniformed services and is designated as the Army of the United States in the U.S. Constitution.
You know what I like about the USA Army? It's that they don't leave their own people behind. And I remember I listened to one video and there was like a mission in Afghanistan or somewhere like that. And one of those guys were French who were telling the story. And he said, when we hear that Americans gonna be besides us, we become very happy. Or when we hear that our Americans are coming to save us, we're becoming very happy because we know that they don't leave behind their own people, you know. They come and they take you with them, you know. And that's like honorable. That's awesome, and I love it.
There are more than 1 million active duty U.S. soldiers comprising 476,000 regular troops a 343,000-strong National Guard, and U.S.
Oh,
Army
National
reserves totaling
Guard.
199,000 soldiers. The U.S. has 62,000 combat tanks to support its soldiers,
Abrams.
a significant number, but less than Russia and China. It has 39,200 armored vehicles, which include armored personnel carriers, APCs, and infantry fighting vehicles,
Bradleys.
IFVs. The U.S. Army can shell its enemies with 1,050 vehicles with mounted rockets and 864 towable artillery cannons and deadly field guns. U.S. Marine Corps. The United States Marine Corps, USMC, also referred to as the United States Marines, is the Maritime Land Force Service branch of the United States Armed Forces, responsible for conducting expeditionary and amphibious operations with the U.S. Navy, Army, and Air Force. As of 2017, there are 186,000 active duty Marines and some 38,500 in reserve, making it the smallest U.S. military service. In line with its agile operational remit, the Marines have an array of weaponry at their disposal, including almost 20,000 armored carriers and trucks, 400 M1 Abrams tanks, and 1,300 amphibious assault vehicles.
Listen, Marine trainings are so savage, I mean, so ruthless. I think I have a video on that also. You can check it out on my channel. And you know, they go through a lot of stress, and they have even this thing called the Hell's Week. Basically, they go without a sleep for 5-6 days, something like that. So it's super stressful, and it's not for weak people, you know. Only strong people can become Marines. As far as I'm concerned, correct me if I'm wrong.
From the air, the Marines can unleash 168 FA-18 Hornets and hundreds of F-35 Lightning II and AV-8 Harrier jets. The Marines can call on around 150 AH-1 Cobra gunships,
Apache.
dozens of Hercules aircraft to move troops, and the support of unmanned drones.
It looks like Hercules, this plane does.